Welcome everybody to another Nerd Corner Anime Corner. Now, this is a special show. This is the first episode of Anime Corner for Nerd Corner. And I'm here with John, aka Unhelper.
Yo. Yeah, I don't know what to say.
Don't worry. This is your first podcast / vlog.
Yes, especially being on camera. Normally I've done like a chat one with a couple people, but yeah, never like this.
All right, so let's try to get through this, smoothly. And we are reviewing one of my favorite animes, not of all time, but just like one of my top 10 favorites, in my opinion. It's an older anime. It's not super old, but for like, let's see. Well, the original run was in like 2007. So
yeah, I'm like, it's like 15 years old now, which is really weird to think about.
Yeah, some people we see at conventions, they were just like babies practically when this thing came out.
Yeah,
it's like, oh no, that makes us the old men.
It is.
Yep. Yeah, this original run came out April 1st, 2007 to September 30th, 2007. It consisted of 27 episodes. I'm going to butcher a lot of the Japanese names.
Yeah, I'm horrible with names myself. When I'm watching it sub, because there's a lot of words I don't recognize since I don't speak Japanese or anything else. I can't tell the word that I don't recognize as the name. I run into that a lot.
Yeah, so the show in English is Gurren Lagann, but it's in Japan it's known as Tenkin Toppa Gurren Lagann. Like I said, I might be butchering out even that. Just
right.
Just the pronunciation.
I got bored and watched it sub or dub this time around, but that's the name. That would be right, because that's make a reference to that name in part of the show.
The director is Hiroyuki Imaishi. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, Imaishi.
Also, I didn't want to say any spoilers about stuff, so I don't know how spoilery or not this can be. So
we'll get into spoilers a little after our review of the show.
Okay.
So let's go with you on your review of the show. I'll go over on mine and also what I score it. So we're scoring it from a 1 to 10 basically. And you can make it any other type of score you want. Like 1 to 10, gunmen or something like that.
Pink. No, honestly, between like 7.5, 8. Like, it's pretty well done. And it's surprisingly not like a lot of the. I think this was one of the earlier animes, to me at least, that by earlier made over 15 years ago or whatever, that didn't just try to drag on this plot of like fighting the enemy. This one enemy is going to take 5 episodes or 15, like Dragon Ball Z. It was like some of the battles literally took place in 1 or 2 episodes, so it could make the plot go relatively quickly. Some like stuff happened early on, and the first time I had watched this back in 2007, they didn't have I jumped in late and started watching it then, so some big things had happened that I hadn't even noticed at then, and I didn't think to go back and watch earlier episodes at that time because it was on TV. But it pretty fast paced, surprisingly, but really well done, and it doesn't just say like powers don't just become like this is the bad like the superpower. They always get more powerful, but it doesn't regress and like say you have to skip this form or whatever. It just keeps building on to it, if that makes sense. Again, try not to give too many spoilers of or any spoilers technically, but just the different Gurren Laganns, because there's Lagann, Gurren, and then when they combine it's Gurren Lagann, and then different versions get added to names, but they all basis as Gurren Lagann. but a really good movie, or not movie, anime, and doesn't. It's pretty fast paced, but it's also continuous. It's not like referring too many bad like old things, especially when it's got 27 episodes, one of which is just a recap part. Good anime though. I kind of rambled a lot. I apologize.
That's okay. Well, for me, this anime is one of the type of anime that, in my opinion, is a complete anime. It doesn't need a second season because it is the whole series. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end.
There is one part I am curious about, actually. I just remembered, but I'll wait until after your review to discuss.
Okay. That might be a spoiler, too.
Kind of, but not really, because it's a scene in the very first part of the first episode.
Okay. So,
yeah,
well, it would be interesting to see maybe a prequel or something like that, because there was stuff that happened beforehand. But for me, I feel this more is like a complete anime. And some animes, they'll go on for a season and it ends and it's like a cliffhanger, and so it has to go on to the next season. It has to go on to the next season. But here we have 27 episodes of just a complete story. We have the beginning of a hero's journey and his struggles through his childhood all the way to his adulthood, and later on near the end of his life, or at least the end of his journey. I don't want to spoil too much. But we have a really cool character named Simone. Kind of looks like Simon. But he's an interesting character because he starts off as sort of a
low self-esteem,
a dreamer. He's basically a dreamer because he lives. He.
I wouldn't say he was a dreamer. I'd say he's more content, just following the rules, sticking in the lines. Isn't he?
Yeah, a little bit, but he does want more. He does want more, and but that is just also the same way with Kamina is the person who really acts on it, though. And pretty much tells Simone that basically, we got to drill out of here because they live underground. Okay, so I'll just give this part away that they live in a tribe of people that lives underground for reasons that we'll explain in the spoiler section later on. And Simone is like you said, he's a little bit content on where he is with his job, and basically just to drill and dig. Mm-hmm. And then one day he runs into a figure of a head, and doesn't know what that is. It brings Kamina onto the whole thing just to show him, and they're kind of flummoxed about exactly what it is until literally their world comes crashing down on them. And that's where it all starts. That really all starts. Also with a young woman as well that comes crashing in with this giant being that comes from the sky.
Oh, I thought we were talking about her wielding just a giant gun.
Oh yeah, and her two bazookas. Remember, these are teenagers. This is anime. We get to meet another character in here. Her name is Yoko Littner.
Yoko.
Yes. And if anybody has been with me to any like waifu panels or anything else like that, anybody's asked me who's my like waifu, I go, it's Yoko. And I always have to kind of say it's the older Yoko, not the teenage Yoko, because otherwise I'll get in trouble because I am an adult myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks creepy. We're not talking about strike witches here. I had to bring that up every time. We will review strike witches in like 3 months.
5 years later. We still have to review strike witches.
We still have to review strike witches. And Jessica's like, I will never review strike witches with you. It's like, nuts.
Yeah.
Then I'll have Kathy come on and review strike witches with us.
That'd be feasible.
That probably will be.
But then we could just have that one as a very small, like, small centrally located geo people thing.
Exactly.
Because we'll be able real close. There we go.
Oh yeah,
Words
definitely. We could do like a whole like live session type of review
in person.
in person.
Oh,
But no, but I love these characters. These characters are a real team.
And
They work really well.
Very good character growth for a lot of them too.
The English, let's see. So I'll start off with English voices for like Simone. Simone is voiced in the AD Vision dub by Josh Grell, and the Bang Zoom dub is done by Yuri Lowenthal. Yuri is actually really nice if you've ever met him in person. You might have. He does a lot of voices for anime. Kamina. Oh, I forgot to do the Japanese voice. Tetsuya Kakehara. Like I said, I'm going to really butcher the Japanese names. Kamina is voiced in Japanese dub. Kazuyuki Konishi. And the AD Vision dub is voiced by Brett Weaver. And in the Bang Zoom dub, voiced by Kyle Herbert. And Yoko Littner, let's see, in the Japanese dub is voiced by Marina Inyawi, I think it's how you pronounce it. And the AD Vision dub, Tiffany Grant, and the Bang Zoom dub, Michelle Ruff. It's either Ruff or Roof. But these are like our three main like characters that show up, and we're introduced to them. And each one has their own sort of character arc. And even though it really focuses on Simone, coming up is just really in your face when we first actually are introduced to him.
Oh yeah.
He's very he knows where he wants to be. He wants to be literally anywhere but where he's currently. He wants to get out of his location and literally reach for the stars. Reach for the heavens.
The heavens.
The heavens, exactly. Let's see. You already gave your review number, and so I'm gonna say mine. It's gonna be an 8.5 out of 10, or 8.5 gunman out of 10, because this anime to me is very memorable. Like I said, for me it felt like a very complete anime. And it has a lot of action, a lot of drama. There's even a love story or stories in here.
Yeah, about 3, 4, 3. Three sounds right.
And of course, there's a lot of, I would say, a lot of fan service in some areas. If you've ever been to conventions, you know what I'm talking about, especially when it comes to Gurren Lagann and Yoko Littner. She's a very popular, also like statue, like collectible character. If you've been past those like anime like vendors that sell this type of stuff, she's a very popular statue or collectible figure to get, and a lot of times she sells out.
Good to know.
Yeah, especially if you're working for a vendor that sells those things. You're like, oh, I'm sold out of Yoko stuff. Like, there's a reason why.
I mean, yeah.
So there's my, well, it's a very short review, but basically this show is in my top 10 because I originally saw it, I think it was what? I'm trying to remember. It was, I think, Adult Swim.
Yep, that's where I started mine too, but it was late.
So I didn't get to see the original dub first time. I only watched the English dub when it came to Adult Swim. That's where I actually saw a lot of other animes in the mid 2000s. So
Before
it's,
it was all streaming everything.
yeah, well, it did bring up like a lot of, I think for a lot of people, introduced a lot of anime to the West that had not never seen this type of anime before, or just they weren't into anime, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is different art styles and everything. Uh, I love the art style of anime. It's very fast paced, very well detailed. Um, you can see the difference between anime style and like Western animation style. Uh, I think, especially some of the backgrounds with anime. Anime really focuses on the smallest details, so like a matte painting. And with the Western style, a lot of times they'll focus a lot on the character movement, but the backgrounds are not so well detailed when it comes to a lot of Western animation. You look in the background and it feels like you're in, either like a Picasso painting or a Van Gogh background or something like that. But it doesn't immerse you. You don't feel like you're really there.
It feels flat.
Yeah, well, more than just flat. Sometimes it just doesn't look like reality, and Japanese animation or anime really like sucks you in. And just the backgrounds they're vast sometimes, and you could almost like you put that up like on your wall, and that's just like a work of art right there. Well, even though American animation it seems the movement seems more fluid in a sense. It's it's just the backgrounds for me just don't match up to anime, and or even sometimes even the detail. Like if you look at things like any type of like mech type of animes, just the detail of the mechs, you won't see that in American animation. If you do,
Right.
they take a lot of, they a lot of those animators probably come from anime. If you see a lot of detail in some like American animations, and they're probably originally an anime artist. Take Love, Death, and Robots, which we'll eventually review.
I feel like you could do a different mini review for each episode or two because
yeah, it's
none
really
of them are
hard.
written by the same people. Well,
Yeah, and animation is
One and
slightly
two.
different too.
yeah,
But
because they're different people. Yeah.
there are certain episodes that are just like their anime style, so we'll definitely get into that as well. All right, so let's get into the spoiler review because I've been sort of segueing, giving examples of how why I like anime and why I like this anime. So let's go with you. Let's go with some spoilers that you've really enjoyed in this, or like scenes in here or characters or events that occur in Gurren Lagann that will spoil some of the plot.
Okay. Well, as I briefly mentioned, this isn't the spoiler part. The Gurren Lagann are the two separate machines they combined to make Gurren Lagann, and it also when I mentioned it just builds up because then they have Gurren Lagann, then the bigger ship, the biggest ship, and it's like piloting the pilot. Humans are piloting a robot that is piloting a bigger robot that is also piloting a bigger robot, and like it doesn't just say, oh, we're suddenly going to use this Megazord entirely and forget the previous things like a lot of shows have done, specifically like Power Rangers and stuff. But it's just like it builds on so that you can't get to the super biggest robot without still using the smallest one, and it's just kind of a cool evolution-y thing. Yeah. This is the kind of spoiler question I have. Is in the very first episode, before it goes to Simone with his drill, it shows the adult Simone, and then I checked. It was like episode probably like 16 or something, and a similar scene occurs, but it's not the same. There's a side character when Simone's like, all those stars in the sky are our enemies. It's weird because there's like it almost looked like a humanoid beast thing. But when I watched the scene again, like in the actual episode, that character wasn't there. So it's either a weird universe thing, and that's my question for you, Jeremy, is uh what would that have been? Just like a time loop almost of like history repeating itself?
Either time repeating itself, or when they wrote
Or
it, when they wrote that scene, maybe they had something planned, and for the last, few episodes of the show, they decided to edit it out or change some things. But it was
because
they it looks like they already had an idea where they were going, and from the start of the show. But
right.
sometimes plans change, and maybe they forgot to go back and go like, maybe that was an inconsistent part of the episode, or they had it in there and they were just like, we'll edit it out because it's already a long episode, and there's just so much
The
stuff we can
spoiler,
pack in there.
and if anything, it would have been like I'm horrible with names. With the little glasses, little Bormol.
Yeah, I can't forget his name.
I assume it might have been him, but at the same time, but seeing all those Lagans floating in space, it makes me wonder if like time and again humans will come back up there to try to deal with this thing, and like it repeats. That's what I also kind of thought it was, of like different iterations, because the first time they're fighting the big bad guy, there isn't like he's like I've never seen a spiral race get this far before. So it makes me wonder if it almost like history repeats. So spiral races will somehow get a Simone or something, go fight the anti-spiral, and then die, and then some on a different spiral planet, and rinse, lather, repeat, same thing, different thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're talking now a little bit like Battlestar Galactica. This has all happened before. This all happened again, type of
Which
situation.
would which would make sense about if they had a prequel like the Spiral War, or a sequel, which is, well, I'll go into that one later because I want to hear one of your some of your spoilers.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I had to go off camera for a second.
Yeah,
my,
I'm actually gonna
I'm
close my
trying.
mic too.
My cat was annoying me. I'm trying to move him away, or her away. She's at my feet. No, but for my spoilers, let's see. One of my the scene that is really a powerful scene in my opinion is the death of Kamina. Like
Episode 8.
that episode was insane because we're
And
brought to
that's episode 8.
yeah, we're brought to believe that he's gonna make it all the way through because he is just he's a main character. A main character that is. This is not like The Walking Dead or anything else like
This
that.
isn't like Attack on Titan.
No, and even with like Walking Dead or something like that, this is a main character that's supposed to at least go through half the series, at least half the
Yeah, no.
series. And here he is. What you said, like episode 8? I forgot to
Yep.
mark which episode it was, but it is just a gut punch, in my opinion. To go, wait a minute,
Hmm.
the character that you've come to love, that really built, is somebody that really builds up Simone's, confidence in
Self-esteem.
himself and self-esteem, dies. That's a shocker. I think it's a shocker to everybody that watched the anime the first time.
Yeah, it was oof. And then having, because as I meant, the robots are connecting. Being one of the pilots, so your co-pilot is pretty much dead with you, and like just being a little bit there, clinging on to life for your sake, and on the feel level, that is not okay. Not okay at all.
Yeah, definitely. It's not okay. And the emotion that comes from the episode is it's silent. I love how they did sort of this silent like cry from Simone in that scene. It just all the emotion comes from the facial reactions, and everything else like that. Oops, hold on a second. I said that a lot from something else. Oops. No, but that episode is really powerful and it's very memorable, and
Mhm.
that's when they capture one of their largest gunmen too. It takes
Oh.
that act
Yeah.
of sacrifice from Kamina to actually snap Simone out of it, because Simone was having sort of a like
Breakdown.
not a breakdown. He was
Heavy emotional.
he was in love with Yoko,
Mm-hmm.
and to see Yoko in the arms of Kamina, not right before the battle.
And he was literally before that was gonna tell her something, and then something happened, or I think he got interrupted.
Yeah, yeah. To see that happen, and it just threw him for a loop, and all his emotions were flying everywhere, and he wasn't able to do his job. And it took, literally Kamina flying up and punching him in the face.
And not the robot punching the other robot. Literally, he gets out of his mech, or his gunman, runs over to Simone's gunman, opens the hatch, and punches him in the face.
It takes two punches actually. Remember, he punches him
okay.
physically, and then in his mech, he before Kamina dies, and before they reconnect, he fires his fist off at at him
Lagann.
at his Lagann, and just kind of like come on, Simo, we got to do this. You can do this.
Mm-hmm. Don't believe in yourself. Believe in the me that believes in you.
Yes, and then at the end, basically believe in yourself. So
believe in the person you want
Yeah.
to be, or something weird like that.
believe in the Simone that believes in you, or something like that.
Yeah, something weird like that. So I feel horrible for Yoko. Actually, she has. This is gonna sound horrible to say. Kiss of death. The two people, to my knowledge, that she kissed go out in a bit of a bang. Kamina being the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't think she kissed Nia though. Maybe she did behind the scenes. Who knows?
Well, no, but I wasn't talking about Nia.
No, I'm messing with you.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. You know who I'm referring to, though, right?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay, just want to make sure. By the way, I just binged this like a week ago, so
Do
that's
you
why
yeah.
I'll
Do you want to spoil that part or no?
you can.
Because we're in spoilers. We're in spoilers.
One of the other first human characters that they meet on the surface, he kisses her and does a self-sacrifice to help save everyone that's on the biggest of the ships currently, like a warship-sized ship. Yeah, and kisses her because he started falling for her, but it's like, no, Kamina is the main man. She's grieving from that, and then he saw her again after she went away for a while, and then suddenly it's space war, and now it's like, I'm gonna make the sacrifice, and he is trying to get her to like him a little bit. I don't know how to phrase it, and he said screw it, kisses her, and then self-sacrifice, but not in vain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a really good scene. Just the whole last battle scene was just insane.
Well, and when I mentioned this thing is fast paced, they have literally no breakdown. It's like bigger battle, 7-year gap, bigger battle, biggest battle. They pretty much freaking yeeted a solar system at each other.
Yeah, exactly. He said they become the universe.
Which is why the Antis battles were like, I have never seen this. No one's gotten this far before. Let's find out who will be winning at this size.
And somehow Goku still could probably take them both on.
Who knows? Well, I feel like Goku would have been in one universe that was yeeted.
True.
Because size-wise, he wouldn't make a dent. He'd have to shoot something big enough in the universe. Which also causes me questions about if they're throwing freaking solar systems as frisbees.
They're just probably destroying all life in those systems.
Yeah, but my concern and question is if you were in that thing, how would I'm just very curious. Like, would your solar system just remain intact, or would you just be like crushed, or like? I'm just thinking of like being as a human on Earth, and your universe got yeeted into another one.
You probably wouldn't even feel it. It would be like a hot, like a heat death type of situation, where, like going into a black hole type of situation, or like a supernova.
Black hole does not sound fun because that just stretches you out to molecular level, I think. Or
Yeah. Okay.
atoms,
So
whichever
probably
smaller.
we're probably about supernova is a better example.
Yeah, but we're distracted. The Yoko and Neo. No, I don't like the ending with Neo though. Like, I feel like he would. I don't know. Emotionally, it's confusing because he seemed to be okay with that too quickly, in my opinion.
I think he accepted it because they knew if they got rid of the spiral energy and everything else like that,
The anti-spirals.
the anti-spiral, I mean, that she is connected to it, and
But I have.
there was really no way around it. They, she was
Is that
part.
because she got taken over? Because she was human. She was, to my knowledge, the son of the Spiral King. Like, biologically. Meaning, was it just happenstance that it was her, and because the anti-spirals were defeated, and she'd already technically been merged-ish with the anti-spirals, that's what happened?
Basically, if I remember correctly, she had the energy inside of her, and if they
But
were
how did that
destroyed,
occur?
if they destroyed, it would just tear her apart.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out how that, like, she inherited it randomly. It wasn't from anyone else. It was, I think it was maybe because she was just chosen. I don't know. Or was it, I'm just very confused on that specifically, on how she became possessed with anti-spiral stuff when she was the son of the spiral thing and in love with another spiral warrior.
Did you say son?
In love with, she's the daughter of
I was like, wait a minute.
Spiral King. Sorry, my brain is lagging apparently.
You were just at a water park. It's the sun.
Yes.
The sun has fried your brain.
Curse you, son.
Here's you. No, but I like the love story between Simone and Nia. Nia was an interesting character when she was, when they found her, and very shy character before they actually
Not
knew
really
who,
shy, just she was not shy at all.
I mean, and then she like opened up. In my opinion. I would say more demure. Demure.
Yeah.
Type of
More
character.
soft-spoken.
Yeah, very soft-spoken. Until she actually, spoke in her commanding voice. Well, no, in her commanding voice. And I love that scene where they're just like, where's she going? And she goes on the the deck of the ship.
And is like, or no, she doesn't do that thing. She stands like as a human who has power, rank, and authority and class.
Yeah. And then I love how she trusts Yoko so much, even though she hasn't known Yoko for very long, to just
And
like
Yoko
shoot
was
right
pissed
through her hair, and that's where she actually got the short haircut because of that reason. Yoko's a really crack shot with that rifle.
Yes.
Yeah, what was it? A kinetic rifle or something like that?
Something like that. That it's an electric rifle, literally.
Yeah.
You can also shoot arrows out of it.
You shoot all different things out of it. I love the design of the animals in this world. Like, it is like a world where
the Grippo, the grape hippo, Grippo.
Yeah, it's like looks like designs like
Avatar.
they have in Avatar, where these animals are like an amalgamation of other things.
Like platypus duck.
Like
platypus turtle. Sorry.
Yeah, like
sorry.
like Buta. I love.
Oh, Buta, thank you. That was his name.
I'm glad Buta could grow his tail back because every time he would have to cut off his tail and that back part of his body and feed it to like Simone or Kamina, and it's like, oh, I hope he can regrow it because that's actually a part of him. So
Yeah, which is really weird still. So I'm trying to look up what the animals in Gurren Lagann are.
Buta never really got large, did he?
Who? Buta?
Yeah.
He didn't change at all.
Which
Well,
is weird
I mean,
because
once.
it's weird because those pig moles, they get big enough to
Big.
ride. So
Yeah.
how old
Well,
would
he
that?
was also weird because he became imbued with spiral energy, which is literally life energy. So he still had a mass amount. I don't know where did he get his spiral energy from? He said the Spiral King, but I thought it was just only at when they were in the fighting the anti-spiral boss guy. Like, because then Spiral King's spiral power, and somehow Buddha stored up spiral power. Oh wait, no. Any DNA thing, two-stranded DNA that twists, is a spiral creature. Actually, yeah. So pretty much all all life that has dual DNA like that works. Can possess spiral energy. Yeah.
But I was now when I look back at it, I'm like, why didn't Buta get big? Either he was the runt of the litter, or it takes a long time for those things to actually get, maybe, decades or more longer than the characters could live. Maybe they actually live longer than humans.
Which is actually really weird to think about because they would in the first village they would have pig mole steaks.
Yes.
Unless all of the pig moles can do that, and like you cut off the tail end and it just regrows, because then it's literally an unlimited food supply.
Hold on a second. So the where was I? Oh yeah. Okay. So another one, another character in here nicknamed Ron. Who's the village mechanic, or Leron? Is it Leron? Littner?
Leron.
Yeah. He was an interesting character. Like, I love listening to both the dub version and the English version. The English version makes him sound really gay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But he was an interesting character. He was interesting. He had a lot to say. But
My question is, does he age?
What?
Does he age?
Does he age? I think they showed a little bit of gray hair in him. I don't think they showed him later on, like the later years. But he was there at the last battle, so, and while everybody else is an adult.
Well, they show him when Simone's really freaking old at the end, like last 5 minutes of the last episode. It shows what's his name? Forehead boy. Forehead kid rather.
Rasu.
From the second,
right.
Huh?
Rasu.
I think so.
Yeah.
Rasu. Yeah, him. They show him being older, but they don't show. And he's talking with Leron, and Leron doesn't look like he's aged. Like, his face hasn't like wrinkled at all. So he either has one hell of a skin routine, or he might not be mortal or human. Because we already have one immortal character.
He could be a vampire, a gay vampire.
I'd love to suck.
Oh my goodness! I love how he just like goes after almost every guy that he comes upon. It's like, maybe he's gay. Like going after. Oh, that could get him canceled today. For some of the stuff he did. He creepy fingers. I love how his fingers just like do this.
Yeah. So I'm still trying to find the animals.
Actually, Steve Bloom did the the Bang Zoom dub for him.
Really? Wait, Steve Bloom?
Or Steven Bloom.
Does not. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
My brain just. They have a grape hippo.
Are the animals again?
I'm still been trying to find what these are. Oh, well, I can see it at this point.
The creatures of
And
Gurren Lagann.
Oh, and also, it's a good anime when they have a Hot Springs episode, which they did.
Yes. And then they found out it wasn't really.
That was like episode 3, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't an actual hot springs.
Oh, no, it was hot spring.
It was a trap. It was a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. Let's see. What other spoilers should we talk about? Let's see. The Spiral King.
Yeah.
He was an interesting character because he actually. The thing is, they introduced him as this really nasty villain. Okay, especially what he does with Nia and everything. So,
She was in a box.
Yeah. So you believe that he is this ultimate, like, he's the
Evil.
ultimate bad guy. He's the one that they have to defeat to finish the series, to save the world. And he's more than that. We find out. He knows so much more than they do, and he actually is like, you may not like me, but I'm trying to also keep this universe, keep this universe intact.
The species.
Yeah, the species as well. So you may not like, what he does and what the other, gunmen are, but he has an ulterior motive, and he's not a 2D, a two-dimensional like villain. He has a reason for being who he is,
which we don't really find out until much later.
Exactly.
Yeah, but overall, really good. What's another good spoiler? Yeah, no, they don't really have time to, like, instead of, like, the reason with the Spiral King, they literally, the first time they see him, they fight him. Literally, they don't take any breaks, no cutting any corners of going back to train to get stronger to do it. No, they just go straight for the throat in that, with every fighter, pretty much.
Yeah, definitely. Another character in here that we didn't get to talk about in the review, is I think has a really interesting character arc is Viral.
He is fun.
Yeah, he's throughout the whole series. So originally voiced in the English for the AD Vision dub by Vic Mignogna, and the Bang Zoom dub by Sam Riegel. I think that's how you pronounce the name. I really enjoyed this character. At first, he's very whiny and very full of himself when you first meet him.
Prideful.
Very prideful, yes. There's a reason for that, because he gets his helmet stolen. And he constantly comes back like, give me back my helmet. Because now it's part of,
Gurren
Lagann, the Dangan Topa Gurren Lagann. And
no, it's just part of the regular first form Gurren Lagann.
Yeah, I like how it's sort of like, it looks like one part is broken of the helmet.
It is.
Yeah.
It was, because the original helmet was a full circle.
Yeah.
But then they broke it off to stop the when it was shooting laser beam. Or Yoko may have shot it. Either way, it broke the laser beam.
Which always...
And then they took that...
Yeah. Which always, I always found like they could have reformed it, considering the abilities of Gurren Lagann to reform parts of, the mech. Whenever like an arm is shot off, a leg is shot off, or even the chest part burst open, all that power coming in, from the headpiece would have just like regrown, like nanotech type of situation.
But A, when they got it, it was already broken technically, and B, I think part of it was also, in all honesty, it's Kamina. It would have been Kamina to be like, hee, this is mine now.
True.
and because yeah, that was fun. But no, I noticed that the helmet reformatted a little bit because the helmet was just a solid ring. This one, when Gurren Lagann put it on, it popped a hole through the thing with a little green light now, and it made it prettier. The whole thing, like less janky looking. Because just having one with another head on top of it, this was better.
Exactly.
It looks like an exposed brain.
Yeah, it looks like the special insignia for Gurren Lagann now. Let's see. No, I really like Viral. He really does have an interesting character arc because going from hating them, wanting to destroy them, to joining them near the end.
Yeah, part of that became like, since he got his immortality, he's just like, well, I just kind of, you guys you have ridiculous policies and they're just crazy. I'm an immortal at this point. I'm just gonna tag around for the ride because this is entertaining.
Yeah, he's seen so much in his lifetime, and way beyond even the series characters because they're not, they're just mortal. But I do like how they actually do especially for the main characters, show the age of the characters. Except for like you said, for Leron, like does he ever show his age? I have some gray hairs. Okay, that doesn't make you super old.
But he has no wrinkles, so he has like perfect skin routine.
Maybe he's secretly a beast man and we just don't know about it.
An immortal beast man. Hey, I mean, old Coco. He's a beast man. Do we ever see him open his mouth?
I don't know. There's another character here I want to talk about is Rasu.
Rasu.
Rasu. Who we get to meet in that underground village that worships that deity in the wall, the head in the wall. The face, and they have rules in this village of like only so the population can only be so high, and then they have to get rid of people. Yay, draw straws.
Pretty much, and it's not murdering them, so they're just sending them to the surface. Side note: the surface is hunting for humans.
Exactly. So they don't know about that. They just send them to the surface. They know there's a surface. They just are like, you know what? We can't feed a certain amount of people. So here you go. Draw the straws. Which is interesting because when Team Gurren, they end up falling down into the village and discovering that these policies, like, wait a minute, you're just sending these people up to die. You're not really telling them what's up there, and also you're not telling them what this face in the wall really is.
It's not like you don't actually know either.
No. We find out that the book they've been reading, the religious book they've been reading from, there's nothing in it. Or actually, no, was there something in it, or they couldn't read it?
It's a joke.
Yeah.
They just couldn't read it.
Yeah. So, it was everything they were told, to in that type of religion.
Came from the priest.
Yeah, it was all a lie. It was made up to quote unquote protect them.
And it's kind of like, I don't want to go into that topic.
Well, I mean, it's it becomes a little political then and stuff.
Yeah, hence why I'm avoiding it.
Well, there's also politics later on as well, especially like in the future.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Especially with Rasu and the position he gets himself into.
Because Rasu was dealing with the population, he was dealt with growing up for most of his life, for at least an early chunk, that with the population cap. We find out later that they have to count all of the humans to be under 1 million. He drags people out from underground to like count everyone, and it's just kind of like, well, if there were only 900,999, he'd probably want to kill someone, or not kill them, but like send them away, something, so that it just to keep without going to the 1 million. because nature versus nurture concept of he was raised doing that as that is acceptable. That's just my opinion. Sorry.
Yeah, and we also get introduced to two other characters that we'll see later on as adults, Gimme and is it Dari?
I think so. That sounds right.
Yeah, who later become pilots, gunman pilots themselves, um, later on. Which, if I remember correctly, they become the pilots for Gurren Lagann in the future.
You're talking within the last like 4 minutes. Yes.
Yeah, so we get to actually see them in Gurren
Well, we don't
Lagann.
see them get in it. Do we actually see them in there?
I think that we see them piloting it.
We see the ship going in the distance, but we don't actually see them piloting it, to my knowledge. But maybe you might be right.
But yeah, they're just kids that are put in a situation where they think it's fun. They're like, hey, look at this, we got the short straw. Like, that means you die. But no,
yeah, in a rigged thing. That's anyway.
No, they get to go with Team Gurren. They get to go with Simone, Kamina, and Yoko, and even Rasu comes along. He's an interesting character. I found his arc really interesting because he goes from a little bit annoying, kid, to almost like a liked character to almost at near the end, like you're going, I don't know if I should hate him or kind of agree with him. Because
no, I just didn't like him.
Because he
might
wanted
have better morals than I have.
Well, I mean, I think what his policies were more in the way of trying to protect what was, humanity in itself. He could see danger coming over the horizon, and he didn't want to take, major risks.
Which is,
he's like, we can go back underground. We can do that because we're used to that. We can, be protected. Like, no, this is a universal thing. This thing is too big to ignore. We can't just hide again. Humanity can't hide again because this will destroy the planet if we don't do something. So hiding underground while the planet is being destroyed, will be destroyed anyway. So
yeah,
we gotta fight back.
He had to make some of the hard choices.
Yeah, and that might have been to the point of people just hating him for who, but he was thinking that he was doing the right thing. Maybe for the wrong reasons, but he was trying to do the right thing in his mind.
Which a lot of it felt like a thing that in the village he grew up in. To stay alive, you have to make sacrifices are okay.
Yeah.
That's what my brain went to. Behind like the nature versus.
Yeah, nature versus nurture. Yeah. So in the Bang Zoom dub, he's actually voiced by Johnny Bosch. Good voice actor, if you've ever met him before. He's a nice guy. Actually, I think he's been to Sabaton before, if I remember correctly.
Oh, really?
I think that's where I first met him.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, let's see. What else can we talk about? There's like a lot of side characters. Let's talk about like the future, because we talked a lot about the past, with the characters. Yoko becomes a teacher.
How far are we talking? Like before going into space or post space? Post space has because yes, she's a teacher, but then we see a little bit of her at the very, very end too. Still, she went back to being a teacher on that island, but she's old then. So
okay, yeah, let's do it right before going into space. This is after the defeat of the Spiral King. And, years later, it shows, everybody's an adult now.
All the people, the original members of Gurren Lagann that were still alive are in powers of office powers of position. Words.
Yeah. Well, Yoko never went that way. She chose
not to. She's like, yeah, nope, I'm out. I want to be a teacher.
she was like, yeah, I'm done killing. I'm done fighting. I want to teach a new generation, which is interesting because her students find out that, oh, this is you. You used to be
One of them
a
called it out.
badass.
It's like, that was your teacher? No, that's not our teacher. And then she'd throw a piece of chalk very skillfully well and embed it into a wall, I think, or make it explode. And they're like, no talking in class. And the students were slightly legitimately terrified of her for that.
Yeah, I'm slightly, terrified and turned on at the same time.
That's probably some of the kids too.
They're like, wait a minute, I'm just going through puberty all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I think anybody that's going, to school, has gone to school, like had at least that one teacher that you had a crush on, at least. No.
Nope.
No, you didn't?
mean, looking back, I'm like, this was a teacher that would be really attractive, yes, but
There are teachers like that,
Nope.
though.
like, as an adult now, yeah, if I could go back to that teacher and ask her on a date as an adult, like, yeah, I'd be down. But other ones, I'm like, I'd never actually thought like that of my teachers. They were my teachers.
Yeah, you see some of these teachers that get arrested for having sex with minors, and you're like, oh wow, that they could have almost any guy in the world. I'm not talking about the male teachers, but I'm talking about like the female teachers, and you're looking at it going,
Oh, okay.
oh, why? I'm attracted to my students. Oh, okay. Guess it's your kink, but it's illegal.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway, to get off the weird subject, she's a teacher.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rasu is, he's a powerhead, basically.
Yeah. Simone is the face of it. If, for example, comparison to like government, Simone would be the president. His other person, Rasu, would be like chief advisor or vice president or something.
Yeah.
But somehow having more, or the head of the science section technically, but also the one issuing all of the orders. So Simone is the face, but doesn't have much of the power because stuff happens, and then he's essentially being arrested. And it's like, we don't listen to you, we only listen to him, Rasu. You're not listening to the one in charge of everything, technically. You're listening to one of the people that under you, or under him. Kind of fishy.
Yeah. Kind of fishy. And then we have, the relationship between Simone and Nia. Now they're adults. And that was a cute relationship. Like I said, it was sad near the end.
And wholesome.
It wasn't like a super sexual type of relationship, but they were like, they could have their own spin-off series on the CW.
Oh, Jesus.
No, but it was cute. I really liked their relationship. It made it even sadder when she died.
I don't say she died. I just stopped existing. Kamina died. There's a body.
Sure.
Yeah. There's no body.
She knew that she was. It was basically like
they did during the fight.
Blipping out. Yeah, it was sort of like blipping out in a way, like if you like Marvel. They knew what was happening, or like Peter Parker, like I don't want to go type of situation.
Except they had both already accepted that, and but they also didn't tell anybody else, which really messed up for a wedding.
It's like, where's the bride? Doesn't exist anymore.
Reminds me of Samurai Jack. Oof. Anyway, that's a sad thing.
Actually, a Samurai Jack would be actually an interesting one to review.
We would probably just want to do the last of it, not like, because there's 52 episodes of season 1, or technically the first chunk, and then there's the one that was released like 18 years later.
Yeah, or we could try to do One Piece. Let's review all of One Piece. I'm joking. You're going like, no, it will take me a month to watch.
No, that'll take me a while, even just excessively binging it. There's over 1,000 episodes. That
Yup,
is,
yup. It is an insanely
unless I
long
talk to my
anime.
friend and, well, yeah, but I can also, some of the movies sum up arcs fairly well. But we're distracted.
Yeah, we're distracted.
Back to Gurren Lagann.
Back to Gurren Lagann. So no, I love the mech battles in here. They just a giant, like almost beyond kaiju type of like battles.
But it's all, some of the later fights get that way for sure.
Yeah, they get larger and
Well,
larger and larger.
but like I said, you don't. It's like not forgetting your roots. They still are using their previously largest robot to pilot this new thing.
Yes, and just expands into something bigger, to the point of it's the size of a galaxy now.
No, God, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because they're throwing around solar systems.
So they're throwing around galaxies.
Galaxies or solar? I forget. It could be galaxies or solar systems. Yeah, they might be the galaxies. That means they're even bigger than galaxies. That's insane. Just
Yeah, they're throwing galaxies.
Okay.
Those are galaxies.
So they
Oh
killed.
wow, yeah.
They killed probably billions of beings doing that.
Infinite amount. The drills of okay, forces of the ultimate attack is executed by grabbing two universes. Oh, which and then combining into whatever to make a ball. So it throws universes, not galaxies, apparently. Oh yeah, I guess it's universes. They're big. They get really bloody big.
They get really big. Yes.
Which, my question is like, how can the human mind fathom that too? That's what my brain actually started going into. Is like, how can the human mind comprehend what it's seeing without like having an aneurysm?
Or just stop existing.
Like in that scale of like what you see, how? Unless they somehow got giant inside the human got giant inside the spirals. And the biggest isn't the final form of it Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann?
Let's see. What was the Super Galaxy? The Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann?
Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann is the final one.
Okay, so that's.
Or, well, then there's technically Super Tengen Toppa, which has a cape.
Yeah. That cape is huge. They could never bring it back to Earth.
The cape?
No. It would be too big.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, because the cape thing is with what's the name? Kamina. The energy form of Kamina.
Mm-hmm.
Or Simone, I can't tell. But Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann is the final regular mech version of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pilots.
For something that big.
I'm just at least counting the faces.
The humans are like not even a speck of dust compared to the thing they're piloting.
Sorry, there might be 12, actually. Either way, it's got a lot of people, but that's why I'm like, how can they fathom this size? Is it just like showing you what you need to see, or unless the humans grew to that size as well inside the thing, because otherwise, like, how?
Yeah.
Because the mind could not physically see or comprehend this. I don't know, it sounds really random, but my brain keeps getting stuck on that.
What do you think about the music in here too?
Pretty good.
Yeah. Especially the intro. I love the intro.
Even some of the combat scenes too. Like those are fun a lot.
I was thinking of playing intro music for later on when I edit this, when I put it on YouTube. But I remembered that a small amount of anime music that's licensed will get you quickly they'll quickly strike you. For some reason, anime is like for Twitch and YouTube, they'll strike you really quickly. Like they'll put a claim on your, you know.
My guess is also because of actually, what's the word? Because you're dealing with other countries, they can get flagged and get real bad.
Yeah.
Stuff I've dealt with through work. But you'd want to make sure it's on. You'd have to either get the approval rights for that, and then talk to YouTube prior, or just check if it's in public domain or anything of that. I doubt it, but like.
Yeah, it's not a public domain.
I figured.
No, but a lot of the anime, even if reviewers, you're saying this is a review, this is not something that we're just, you know, we're trying to show clips, we're trying to show, you know, music or something like that from there. A lot of times they get striked really hard, and it puts, because you have a 3-strike policy on YouTube, so you have to be very careful. But all in all, the music in here I really enjoyed, and I always love, you know, anime intros, and it is a very catchy, you know, intro. One that I know anytime somebody brings it up, especially during, like, you know, anime karaoke or something like that. I'm like, yes, I know exactly what that is. Because I'm not super versed in a lot of anime intros, because there's so much anime out there, especially like the newer animes. Okay. But when it comes to some of the older ones that are like maybe 10, 15 years old, I like, I know what that is. I know what that is. So, good music.
Yeah.
Good music.
I concur.
All right, so before we close out this review, is there anything else you want to talk about the show, about any of the characters, or maybe even some of the voice actors?
I mean, since I watched it dubbed this time around, I sometimes get bored and like look up voice actors that I'm like, why do I recognize this voice? Where's he from? And found out what's his name? Paul St. Peter. His voiced a lot of Kingdom Hearts characters. Xemnas, but it just, when you recognize the names are fun. And also, show related directly is spiral power. It can apparently be achieved by all living organisms like that have the twin DNA, because what was the name? The brother of the black siblings. That's what they call themselves.
Keaton?
Yes, Keaton. Experienced spiral power in his last moments, but like he experienced, like, any of them, when they put their life, go all in, just everything, can experience spiral power. So, in the words of Naruto, believe it. Sorry. Yeah. Believe in yourself, and just,
That will be interesting if we do reviewing of Naruto, because there's a lot of Naruto out there. No, but for me, as like, I don't know. It's sometimes, you know, the dub versions aren't as good as, you know, the English translations and dubs. I think they're equal in this sense, because they bring a little bit different type of like emotion to the characters. Because the way that the voice actor portrays these characters. But I personally like them both, and I put them on an equal level, because it's almost like watching a whole different type of like show sometimes when you watch the original translation, and then you watch the dub version.
In some shows, I've noted the subtitles, depending on where you're watching it, the subtitles match the default language. And then it talks with it doesn't match the English translation, so it's kind of funny seeing that disconnect, I guess. But it showing, oh hey, this is pretty similar to what it would have already been saying.
Yeah, true. A lot of times, I think the reason for that is because they're also trying to match up with the lips, you know, the voice in ADR type of situation. So it's not off like you're talking, and then you drop and
like
talking
the
like
old Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Godzilla.
Or old martial arts films that have been dubbed into English.
Yeah.
You know, they'll be fighting, and all of a sudden, you know, the villain will be speaking, and all of a sudden his mouth doesn't move, but he's still talking, and you're like, wait a minute, who's talking now?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times it does get lost in the translation, or just they're trying to match up, the lips to, the original animation that they have in there.
Makes sense.
But no, I like a lot of the voice actors, and I like the different dubs that they have in here. Like I said, there's like the Vision dub, and then there's the Bang Zoom dub. You'll have to look it up, like exactly what version you're watching, because I don't know, because there's Gurren Lagann is on what's it, Crunchyroll, it's on Hulu, and it's on Netflix. So it's on like 3 different streaming services at this moment.
I watch it on Netflix because ease.
Yeah. But if you do want to watch it, if anybody is watching this, if you do want to watch Gurren Lagann right now, you can watch it on Crunchyroll, Netflix, or Hulu Plus. But definitely check out this show. This show it's not a long show. It's 27 episodes. They go by really quickly.
One of which is, yep, like I watched it in about 2-3 days. Yeah. I had time, but and I may have skipped a chunk of one of the filler episode because I just seen everything up to that point. I didn't need a recap of it because I already knew everything that it was doing that. But yeah, it goes by really quickly, and I believe that you'll really enjoy this show, and it will become a favorite of yours. Like I said, my review, I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. It's not a perfect show. Very few animes are perfect. Right.
But it is a fun show. It's a very memorable show for me, and I have put it in my top 10 favorite animes. Some people may say why, but I have put it up there because it's just, I could reference it back to anybody that is just getting into anime or already is very learned in anime in general, and I can use that as like a back reference to help people know what anime really is and anime style. So I bring that show up a lot in conversations, and the other show I talked about earlier, but that's just because it's a joke. The show's in a joke. It's the whole referencing thing, but yes.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So,
sure.
Yeah. So this is the end of the show of my review of Gurren Lagann along with Unhelper. So, do you have any place you want to tell the viewers and listeners to check you out?
I'm Unhelper on pretty much every social platform, so if you find that, chances are high it's probably me. Twitter's the exception. I had to use little Unhelper, but that's beside the point. Unhelper was taken there. But yeah, no. I'm wherever. And I exist everywhere, apparently, all at once. Not to be confused with the movie. But, so yeah. Follow if you want, or not. Your calls.
Alright, and also be sure to follow me on my Twitch at Gurnerd Corner Gaming. Also, I'm on Instagram, at Gurnerd Corner, and on YouTube and Twitter at Gurnerd Corner. Everything is at Gurnerd Corner. So,
except for Pokemon Go.
Except for my Pokemon Go. Yeah, that's different. Well, yeah, and especially my Twitch. It's Gurnerd Corner Gaming. Thank you for watching, and remember to enjoy your chimichanga.